Back to Zooming. Sorry about that. Hey, there we go. Back to the Zooms. Hope everybody's doing all right. Getting ready. Obviously, good first week of training camp right now with our guys. Pretty good attitude. Guys working hard. We're over there at the rec fields and, getting out there, get that training camp mentality. Has been pretty good. Kind of, you get your normal bumps and bruises. Got a couple. Robert Carlson and is going to be out for the year with an ACL. Jaden Hill tore his ACL. He'll be out for the year. So very unfortunate when you got to deal with injuries, and guys, and it's really a tragedy, with the amount of work that these guys put in, how hard they put in. Both of them were non-contact injuries, and just kind of a shame that stuff happens out there on the field. But besides that, everybody else kind of, your normal bumps and bruises that guys, missed part of a practice or limited or banged up or, one day rest back the next day. So, but that's about it on the injury front. On the everything else, I think the training camp's going pretty well. Guys are, we're still in the installation phase of things right now. We're going to continue to install through the weekend, and the plan is to have our first scrimmage on Sunday. The scrimmage on Sunday, obviously, you're kind of the later Saturday. I'm hoping we get through Saturday morning's practice, which would then really kind of put in the Saturday afternoon, Sunday, Monday schedule's a little in flux right now on the weather. So we might be mixing up some of those days around to make sure we get the right thing. So don't get frustrated if we have to change schedules on you at the last minute, but that's kind of what we have going right now.
Edgar, go ahead.
Boy, there's two Cassidys. There's a live Cassidy, and who's the fake Cassidy above you?
I'm everywhere. Don't ever forget it. I'm in all places.
Where'd Edgar go?
Hey Dan, sorry.
There you are.
Sorry to hear the news on Jaden.
Yeah.
He was showing some signs last year. Where do you address that discussion? Who are you looking for?
Well, there'll be a bunch of guys. You're still in training camp, so there's just, there's going to be a lot of opportunities for guys coming in. We have we have Perkins transferred in, going to have an opportunity. You have, obviously Avery Helm, who's, I think going to be extremely talented. Might just have to accelerate his career to get him on the field. Ethan Pouncey coming off the surgeries is really kind of getting back to the player we thought he could be. So they're going to be some of those young guys that might just get a little more opportunity than they were expecting at this point.
So, Dan, when's the last time sorry about the echo. I don't know what's going on. But what's the last time you had seen Emory Jones on the field and worked with him before last Friday? And what have you seen areas of growth did you see and notice?
It would have been what, the last spring practice, because they're not allowed to be out there without a ball. We do some walkthrough stuff here and there, or discussions at meeting times, but not on the field. Would have been our last spring practice. So that we had. So as you go through different things with him, I just think he's approached everything very well. But he's approached things great since he's been here. I think he's. He's never been a guy, come in. He's always been a guy that's open, that's learning, willing to adapt, learn how to adjust to the role he's in, learn how to grow and continue to grow through different roles. And I think he's been able to do that, a really good job of that. And so I think, when you do that and you've seen how everybody approaches things and you approach things the right way, which he has through his whole career, I think, hey, this role, I know what to expect, and I'm expecting the, kind of maybe the additional scrutiny and pressures and everything coming into the season.
Thanks, Dan.
See, you're not on the golf course there, Edgar. Like, if you just saw Edgar's face right now, you might see him out there putting right?
Tomorrow, hopefully.
Mark Long. Trying to figure out does he have his shoulder wrapped?
That's why, I was going to see that. Is that ice? Like do we have an injury report right there?
Yes, I'm probable for golf tomorrow.
Again, I was just going to ask you about players raving about John Dexter. I'm just curious, have you seen out there what they're talking about in terms of this guy going to be a beast this season and an unstoppable force inside?
I don't that You know me, I don't go to those extremes maybe with compliments, right? But, the one thing to me that Jervon, that I like that I've grown, obviously we know he's got physical talents. I think, but, one of the things that you see is different is his maturity, of his understanding that, hey, I have these physical talents, but I also have to understand and play within the scheme. I have a job to do on every single play. I gotta complete my assignment. And my approach to how I come out and play, I think he's shown a great deal of maturity within it. And it's maturity, and that leads into leadership. Maturity leads into his better preparation, and maturity and understanding of, hey, I'm not just this big guy running out here trying to make plays. I'm out here trying to execute the defense. And I think that's what's really shown to me. I'm supposed to look straight ahead. It's hard because I like talking to people. So I look at y'all's picture, and then I'm always staring down the whole time.
Chris Harry.
Hey, Dan, you got starting experience right over here. You
Yeah,
got
yeah.
starting experience at every position on the offensive line, with the exception of that center spot. I want to know what's your comfort level with Kingsley in there, and given all the responsibilities that comes.
Kingsley's really been a guy that has embraced it. We rotate. I think you saw it in spring. We rotate a lot of guys through because you got to have depth at that position. That's the other positions, you got to know assignment. You got to know how to block. There's an extra skill with the snap involved in that position, so you want to create depth. But he's a guy that's really kind of jumped and embraced that role. He's a guy that's not, I'm not here getting reps. I'm not here preparing. Really, to me, his approach starting last spring was, I'm here to be the starting center. And, has really approached it with that type of attitude and mindset. And, and it shows, with the mental aspect, with everything that goes with it, with the leadership, he's embraced everything that comes with being the center, wanting to go be the starter.
When he was a true freshman, you guys chose him for that Scott Strickland's first, I think it's called Leadership Council, Gator Leadership Council. What'd you see in him that warrants such an honor like that to put him in that position at such a young age when he hadn't done anything? Yeah,
I just think you look at guys, and you find guys that are going to kind of fit that mold throughout their future. He's extremely intelligent. Has a very high care factor, really loves being a Florida Gator, and represents the program well. So I think when you look at some of especially those things outside of that, it's guys that want to embrace those type of roles, and he's someone that has wanted to do that.
Thank you very much, Dan.
Goldie.
Yeah, Dan, I know Edgar asked you a little bit about Emery. What's your feeling in terms of how his retention's been from spring ball?
Really good. I think he has a good grasp. He obviously has a really good grasp of the offense, been around for a couple years. And so I think it's really getting into the more how to function, how to use the offense, constantly on accuracy, balance, making all his different type of throws that he needs to make, and then his comfort level into how to make plays and when to make plays. And we limit some of that in practice. We'll be like, hey, you have the freedom to scramble today. There'll be days I won't give him freedom. Like, you have got to stand in the pocket. And then you actually got to coach beyond that and say, hey, I hope you would have scrambled in this situation. They're just there's a huge running lane to go take advantage of it. But we kind of give him a lot of different things. And so I think his grasp of the offense is really good. It's getting him prepared in every situation, how to be the best playmaker he can be.
And then I know you guys never really know when the NCAA clearinghouse is going to do things, but do you guys expect Tyreek Sapp on campus in the next day or two?
We're hoping, on our end, everything's done, so now it's just somebody waiting on other people.
Dave.
Coach, a couple young guys want to ask about Nick Elkness and Marcus Burke. We've seen the videos and some images the last couple of days. Just talk about how those true freshmen are implementing themselves into the offense.
Yeah, they're doing good learning. There's a lot of learning curve, so, they're out there getting reps. You can see both of them are going to have really bright futures with us, and how they play. They both have excellent skill sets, and then they're, obviously Nick has a little advantage, having gone through spring. So, he had the opportunity to go through spring, so he's coming out there. He at least knows how practices work, knows what's going on. He's gone and run the plays in the offense once before. But both of them are going to have really good futures with us.
Thanks, Coach.
Zach?
Hey Dan, sorry if I missed this earlier. Is Jaden's knee tear in the same knee as high school, or is it the other one?
Other one.
Thank you.
Yep.
And I know you're a very big jersey number guy, but I'm curious for your thoughts on Anthony Richardson taking 15. Obviously, the responsibilities that come with that.
Well, the nice thing is I think he was 2, and he said, "Can I go to 15?" And I looked at the roster, and there wasn't and I don't know who was 15 because I think wasn't Copeland 15 last year.
Yeah.
And he had already changed.
Maury said he was thinking about it too.
He had already changed out and of 15, and so Anthony got to me first, and there wasn't a waiting list at 15. There's a huge waiting list at 2 of people that want jersey number 2. So I said, what an easy benefit to get somebody right. There's not a waiting list for 15, but there is for 2. So.
Thank you.
Nick?
Yeah, Coach. Wanted to ask you about a couple of positions. Finley Graham's a guy. I think you guys have him at safety, but is he someone that can play on special teams, punt return, kick return? Who are some of the guys you're looking to return punts and kicks?
Yeah, I mean, Finley, obviously, and coming out of high school, and everybody knew that, is that guy. He's kind of a very, very much a utility player, really good football player, can return punts, can return kicks, move him around a little bit defensively. Is a guy that just has a real natural instinct for the ball. Obviously, in the return games, he's up there big, trying to work Jamarcus Bowman in that situation to return kicks for new guys. I'm trying to think who else we got back there. We just started with kickoff return, so I haven't seen a lot of those guys do that. Punt returns. I mean, obviously, you got Xavier Henderson back there. You got Kyer Elam, guys that have been back there in the past to go do that stuff as well. So we're just kind of working through those things with that. Jamarcus Weston's a guy I'm really excited to see in a kickoff return role, possibly. So we'll see as we keep installing that. And, we kind of really have been a lot more in technique and individual part of the special teams more than the return game and the full-on scheme. That's coming in the next week.
And then I asked you before camp just about the new rules and the acclimation period. Now that you're a week into it, is the acclimation period maybe too long, and how has it kind of changed the way you structure fall camp?
I don't know. It is what it is. They create the rules. I would do it very differently for the health and safety of players. The acclimatization period, the one big thing they did is they allowed the little protective things when you're at non-padded days. So I think that helped. We didn't, for the first time probably in a long time, we didn't have injuries in those 2 days, probably because of that. I don't know. Could you put on full pads 1 day earlier that they changed it back a day? Sure, absolutely. I don't think there would be any difference in that one way or the other. I don't know that made a factor. I think the biggest factor, as always, is them trying to cram 25 practices into 29 days instead of which the health, all the experts say the more rest and recovery you have, the healthier the team will be. So I don't know why we weren't able to start 2 or 3 days earlier and add more off days. Today's one of our first, recovery days within the calendar. I would have liked to have already had one before this, but because you have to cram the practices in, it does hurt that way, and it hurts. I think honestly, it's not just the physical; it's the mental health of the players, of giving them a little bit of breather time. We try to work the schedule as best we can to help them while getting prepared, but. It would, you have these 25 days of practices set up, and you'd love to do them over 32 days and give everybody a little bit more time and rest and recovery in between.
Thanks, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Cassidy?
Yeah, it sounds like your voice is about gone. Have y'all been yelling too much?
That's just football. I'm off my summer chill voice, right? I don't scream Jimmy Buffett tunes that loud when I'm in the summertime, so you're kind of like a little more chilled voice. And, in season, you kind of pick up your voice and have to yell a little bit. I think I'm doing pretty good, though, to be honest with you, my voice. I didn't come here like this, and, I'm not all the way full on Nick Savage yet. So I'm doing okay.
That makes my throat hurt just thinking about it. As we talked about, this is Jaden Hill's second ACL tear. I know it's on a different knee, but he was just at a point where he thought he was going to finally get that shot. You know, you talked about him starting outside. What is his mindset, sort of his reaction? Does he feel like he still has a shot next year? What is
Absolutely. Well, I think massive disappointment. You know, being ready for this opportunity to be the guy, but you know, you're looking at a young guy that's been through this once, you know, and came out on the positive end on the other side. So I think he understands how to come through it, what he needs to do and how he can get through it and how he'll improve. And I think within knowing the program, knowing the defense, knowing his maturity, I mean, as a guy that's going to be pretty comfortable, I think, saying, hey, I put myself in the position to be a starter. I had this little setback, but, you know, if I've worked hard, nothing was ever handed to me. I had to work hard to be a starter. And if you've done that, if you know the path of hard work, how to get into that role, when you get knocked off course, you know how to get back there. You know, if it was just handed something, maybe it was harder, but he's worked his tail off to earn everything he's gotten here. And I think that makes it easier because you understand how to get back there. You know, I know that path. I know what I need to do, and I plan on being back full speed here shortly.
And then speaking of that number 15 jersey, I can't believe we haven't asked you about this yet. But have you got to see any footage of Timmy working at tight end? What is your evaluation of his
I
position?
haven't. How's he doing? Yeah, I mean, I'm in like a bubble. You know, I'll be honest with you. If you tell me about anything goes on in the world right now, it would be news to me. That if it doesn't involve Florida football, I have no idea that it's actually happening.
Would he be one of the few people in the world, though, that you think could make that transition?
Yeah, I never put anything past Tim of doing things. You know what I mean? I don't know. We'll see. I'm not there, so I think he could. He'd be an interesting guy in that position because I think he brings different value of a guy that has a different skill set, right? You know, I mean, it's kind of like, hey, I mean, it's a guy that has developed a unique set of skills through the year that makes him very dangerous to people like them or whatever. What's that movie? Liam Neeson, right? Taken. Like, I mean, that's kind of cool. You want to be a guy with a very unique set of skills. So that's an all-time classic movie, too. I'll tell you, that is a great movie.
There's no replacements.
He plays that role in every movie now, too.
Well, I mean, he did it so perfectly in that role. So, but I would, and I don't want to, you don't have to just knock me completely. I would have it slightly ahead of replacements, just slightly, though.
Don't get her started, man.
Matt Baker. Is there really a wait list for jersey numbers?
I don't know. I mean, if you really want to see it, like, I mean, I'm going to, like, just go, okay, anybody, we're going to open up jersey numbers. Every jersey number's been canceled. Meet me outside my office, and we're going to reassign jersey numbers. And I'll let you guys go handle that and see what that's all about. I mean, it's like it's like the crazy. I'm like, okay, what number? I want this number. If I don't have that, I want this. I mean, I'll get text. I'm like, put them in order with 10 different numbers in order of what they would want them to be. It's so.
Yeah, you guys definitely should put up a sign-up list and then.
Oh, it's unbelievable. It is. It's just crazy. You know, what I was gonna do, but I don't know if it could. I was gonna assign them weekly, so every week everybody has a different jersey number. That would give everybody the experience of playing in different jersey numbers.
Yeah, the opponents would love that on scouting.
I'm sure they would. If there isn't a rule, there would be one quickly about, you know, like making shoot, you can't wear a T-shirt right before the game. Yeah, so.
Dan Mullen rule.
More Dan Mullen rules.
Georgia would complain.
Yeah.
You probably have a section in the rule book, all the rules that because of Dan Mullen.
So.
I'm sorry, we went down a rabbit hole. I had an actual serious question. Bobby Bowden's passing the other day. I know you didn't play for him or coach under him, but are there kind of any impacts he made on you, schemes you've used, how you structure just the program, anything like that?
Absolutely. You know, he spoke up when I was at Mississippi State. He came and spoke for us up there. You know, being around him and you study him. Obviously, schemes. I thought he was a pretty unique innovator during the game of football. A lot with the shotgun and no huddle type offenses, and very much an innovator of the game that way. And then obviously, one of the things you see guys that have a long periods of success, they must be doing something right. And obviously, he did so many amazing things right over that long period of success. But even more importantly, to me as a coach, as you look at how people, where they hold them, obviously, it's the one thing, it's the respect that coaches have as a peer to me. But I think what's even more telling is the respect all his former players have of the impact he made on their lives, which is so special, which really shows you not just that he was a great coach and an innovator of the game, it made an impact on the game that way, but even more importantly, made an impact on so many young men's lives, I think is what really makes him so special.
Declan.
So just about special teams real quick. Obviously, Jace Christmas came in from Mississippi State, and you have Chris Howard, who's a 5-star. Talk about what you're seeing, kickers and I guess he's starting in position.
All right, I missed most of that. Do we have any translators on that one, or like into the mic? It was like broken up. Every other word came through.
Chris Howard at Mississippi State.
Oh, Chrisman and Chris Howard, the kickers.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Yeah, it'd be a good little competition between those two guys. Obviously, Chris been with the program since I've been here, and I've seen unbelievable improvement of him from one year to the next within our program. I think comes into the year with a lot of confidence. And then obviously knowing Jace, recruiting Jace out of high school, having him play for me. Heck, he scored the points the last time we were in the stadium, and I was just on the opposite sideline this time. He's the one that scored the points when we went out there to play him a couple of years ago at Mississippi State against us. So know that he has experience and a background, and so it'd be a good little battle for those two guys, but I think they work together and gives us the opportunity to make sure we have two kickers that are ready to go play.
All right, close with follow-ups from Mark and Edgar.
Sweet. Hey, Dan, your guys are at least saying the right things with NIL, that they're really focused on what's going on in camp, and they'll let that stuff handle that stuff maybe off-season type things. Did you have to have that message with them, or is this them out there on their own, or how do you think?
No, I think they're
working right now.
I think they're feeling their way through it all right now. I think everybody is, it's just kind of still continuing to feel their way through it, finding all the different things going on. I'll be honest with you. I think our guys probably the most part are very focused on football, and that's consuming a massive amount of time right now in everybody's lives. So, there's probably not that time to sit there and say, okay, how am I doing this deal? How am I working this? How am I working that? When their focus is football and being better at football. Right now. So we discussed it. We had a little team meeting earlier today and discussed a couple of little small factors in it. But all of those are still growing deals of making sure we're doing it the right way, following the law the right way. How are we doing it? This is as we continue to learn, here's some different information to continue to give them. But guys come up and they're asking questions all the time. I think you're going to continue to see, little things here and there that guys are continuing to work on.
Yeah, Dan, couple final ones. One, and I got to ask, since we last spoke to you, the COVID situation continues to escalate.
Yeah.
What are the discussions with the health officials, UF health guys and decision makers at UF about this?
Well, and it's we're still educating and learning, we had a big meeting the other day looking at the curve and the expected curve and trying to continue to educate our guys. We kind of switched back to we're not mandatory masks in anything we do, but highly encouraged, especially in any sort of team or positional meeting when we're indoor confined spaces. See, I brought my mask up here today too, that I had on. And I think our guys understand that and have done a pretty good job of that, of understanding it and how to, haven't been through it and like we know, being a little bit more educated on the situation of preventative aspect of it and where to be comfortable and how not to be, and what not to do. So we have changed that since we've done, but we have not put any mandates in on anybody. We continue. There's our vaccinations continue to increase. I don't know the exact number. We're not at 100%, but we're really very, very, very high that way. We're at a grade that you could bring home to your parents. You wouldn't have to hide that report card. We're at that percentage, right, where you'd be proud to bring your report card home with our percentage number on there. But we're just continuing to educate and learn, but haven't gone full on to mandatory anything just yet.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're all tired of this topic, so thank you for that.
Absolutely.
But the other topic that's kind of come to the fore this summer, and it's been, I mean, it's an obvious challenge for young people and for all of us, really, mental health.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've talked about this in the past, but when you see the Biles and the Saka situation, such high profile stuff, now you got a guy like Jaden, who's going to be dealing with like a knee. I mean, that's just rough. I mean, you plan all for the whole season, it's gone. How do you approach your players on this? What are the discussions? How do you guys involve yourselves in their lives?
Well, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, obviously, we're involved in their lives. You're very much a family thing, so you're very connected that way. You're around. I mean, anytime you take away with you look at a Jaden Hill where you have a serious injury that takes something away from you, guys that would give anything to just have an opportunity to go compete and be out there on the field with their teammates, I think is, that's what makes people special, is that their desire to get out there and want to just go and compete with their teammates. And when, you've worked so hard and that gets taken away from you, it's really difficult. And so, we're there with our guys. You're a family. You understand it. We have a big support system, and then checks and balances, to be honest with you, of making sure, we do have our counselor program set up that guys meet with. There's some that we push into the meetings, some that request it, but others are that, as you pay very close attention. I mean, you have to have a great relationship. The great thing in training camp, you're around the players so much that you usually can catch any issues or problems that are out there and get them the help and assistance they need, to battle through different issues and problems that they have. And, our guys, the biggest thing I tell our guys, the hardest problem for me to fix is one I don't know exist. So if I don't know a problem exists, it's really hard for me to fix. So we just have a constant open communication. Start every staff meeting with player issues. What have you noticed? Does anybody even have a faraway look in their eye? Anybody sad about something in the training room? And everybody in the program. Is there something that we're missing or that people aren't talking about that we can help our guys out with?
Great. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, we'll see y'all. Stay safe.
Long line for number 36, Coach?
What's that?
There's a long line for number 36, right?
I mean, you should be. I don't know why there isn't right now. That is seriously, if you want to get special treatment on the team, why wouldn't you wear 36? You know what I mean? I mean, you're going to be looked through like rose-colored tinted glasses if you're wearing number 36. It's hard to screw up, So I don't know why they're not fighting for that.
Media shirt.
Media 36 glass shirt. We'll see y'all.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Coach.
Loud there, Cassidy.
Oh, sorry. I got two screens.